Hey guys, I hope you hear me better this time around. I just kind of want to go through like a sort of quick what's in my bag type video. I know a lot of other photographers, videographers with YouTube channels kind of do this every year. They promote gear, they talk about gear, they talk about techniques, yada yada yada. That's not the channel I'm in. I just kind of wanted to create this mostly just to kind of give you an idea of, I guess, the philosophy of how I shoot and what it takes to make that work. Now, let's just get into this. This is not the tripod that I usually use. It's being used over there for that camera. But this is a monopod that I have, and really I don't really use it much. But this will typically slide in kind of in my bag right about in here. And so I have a tripod. Let's just get rid of this out of the way for now, because we don't really need it. An essential, I never leave without water. In fact, if I believe that I won't even need my tripod, I will have another water bottle in here. I'm just going to stick that back here for now. Now, as you can probably see, this is actually a relatively small bag. I have a bigger bag, but I don't really need it for most of what I do. That bag is mostly used for a secondary bag for when I need to carry more stuff. So it has more like odds and ends and stuff like that. So let's get into this. I'm just going to readjust the camera so you get more of a downwards view. I wish I had two cameras so I can, do it that way, but I don't. So let me just make that adjustments for you. Alright, this is why I wish I had a second camera, so if I needed to look at the camera and say something, it wouldn't be so awkward. Instead, you're going to see more or less this. But at least you get to see what we're actually talking about. What I like about this bag is the camera actually opens up from the back. And I won't really demonstrate it because, well, I probably should, but I don't. Anyway, this clips together, and I can actually rotate this on my belly, and it essentially opens up kind of like this. I guess you can kind of see that. So I can actually just, swing it around my back. It still hangs off my body. I can get in, I can do the work that I need, and I can get out. Maybe I should start with this, actually. Minor thing. This is where I put my batteries. That way it's just easy to get at. I'm not going to pull that out of the bag because that's just a boring battery. I have 3 of them. I number them so that way they cycle in order. Alright, so I'm substituting my main camera body lens thing here. Kind of want to get in the shot here. This isn't the normal lens that I use, but this is just sort of to show the scale, right? This essentially just fits in like so. Actually, I guess you kind of need an inside view. So I'll just sort of illustrate it like this, I guess. So my camera goes here, my filters go here, my mic usually goes in here, and this is like my auxiliary space. This is where, like in this case, if I go on mostly like, say, walking and hiking kind of purposes, I'll just bring like my super telephoto lens. But again, this is always changing. I won't get into all the configurations, because sometimes I'll have this in there. But again, it just depends on the needs. But yeah, that's like a little bit of space that I have for play. So with that said, I will put this here, I guess. I'll take my camera out here, I guess. And so let's go into the sound for an example. I always carry with me, even if I don't plan to use it, a little lav mic. It's really cool because it's wireless. It sets up on my hot shoe like this, plugs into my camera, and this can connect to a piece of clothing or whatever. The cool thing about this is this has a mic input jack too, so I can put in an actual lav. So if I need to hide it or whatever, or if I want better audio quality, I have that option. And I'm going to skip along here, and I'm going to pull out of the top of my bag here because it is kind of important. I always carry this. On the mics in the camera really suck. They're only good for basically syncing audio together. So I never leave the house without this. And the short story on this mic is it is pretty cheap actually. I think it's only like $80 or whatever. But the sound quality if it's used correctly in the right sort of space, I actually think it's the best sounding mic that I have. I have other mics. Again, I'm not going to go through all my gear. I'm just sort of illustrating what I typically carry with me. Okay, so let's go into this filter here. This is actually a pretty cool filter. This is a variable ND. This is primarily used for video purposes, and it changes the. I don't know if I can see that. Yeah, let's see if I can show that. Yeah, you can see that. So it basically allows me to shoot at lower shutter speeds to give it better. Like, it just looks better for video to shoot at lower shutter speeds, and that does the job. And it's set up and ready to go, and I use it all the time. All the time. And this is not a cheap filter at all. I did the research on this one, and I think I paid like $200 or $300 for it, and it really is the best one that I can find in the market that doesn't ruin image quality or affect color so much. Now, in this little bag here, I have essentially some step up and step down rings. Now, this is primarily so I can fit some other filters onto this lens and the most common lenses that I may actually bring with me. Again, if I were to try to illustrate this around the front here without making a mess, because I will pack 2 filters with me. This one here is a polarizer filter. Honestly, I don't ever really use it. It's just too many extra steps, and I'm just too lazy. And even with what I do with it, it's not necessary. And then I have my 10-stop filter, and again, I don't use this too often. It's more of an artsy type thing, but it does have its place, and I always carry it with me, even if I don't use it, just because it's small and out of the way. I do pack a pen in here, but that's here nor there. I don't even think I carry a... No, I don't even have a paper. Another key tool that I always have and always use... Let me just get this kind of back into... is a tablet. This is basically... so I can wirelessly transmit from the camera to here and control it wirelessly. One of the... I mean, there's different cameras for different purposes. This one does not have good autofocus. So it's kind of one of those things that's best to set it and forget it, but I can't set it from the camera if I'm trying to be in, I can't set it and then be, over there. So that's where this comes in handy. And this gives me a better idea of what my view is, but unfortunately the image quality that actually comes off of here is pretty lackluster. It's really not much different than the flippy screen on here, especially with how I shoot. It's not... I'm still having to make some educated, experienced guesses, if you will. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. That's just something I'm going to learn to deal with. And I guess a minor mentioning too, I always pack my lens caps, even though it stays on the body. In the event of an emergency, like when I broke my lens, it's nice to be able to have the caps so I can cap off my lenses if need be. That just stays out of sight, out of mind. And I always carry this with me because it's small and easy to carry. And this allows me to basically plug in 2 audio sources into my camera or into my recorder, which I'll get into a bit. So I can have this running as one on say like the left channel, and then this could be on the right channel. So I can get good vocal audio and I can get my good surrounding audio, and I can choose in the edit, what audio I want to use. Sometimes, actually, I'll pull that out right here because it's close. I have a shotgun mic. So again, I'll probably illustrate this in another example, but sometimes I'll actually run both of these mics on top of my camera, so that way I can have them at different audio levels. And they do technically do a little differently on different things, but I don't always carry this with me, so I'll just throw that back in there. All right, so yeah. Other than that, I mean, I'll have in here. There's a dead cat. It's like this fluffy thing, but it's made for this. So that way, if there's any wind or whatever, I can block that off. The mic on this, I actually have a dead cat thing. It's in here. That kind of clips on there because there's a mic there. And then I have the top cap for this, which really I'm not too concerned. It's not like I live by the coast like in salty water where I have to worry about corrosion. I always carry my neck strap with me because if I'm going for like a long walk or whatever, I want to be able to just let the camera hang if need be. But even when I'm doing video recording, and maybe I'll do another video because this will probably get too long for it to be all in one. But when I have my main run and gun outdoor video setup, I will still have this on as a bit of like a support system, you know, so I can still let it hang. Like, I'll show that in another video. I think that'll be pretty cool too. Okay, so what else is in here? In here is basically a little light kit. I rarely use it, but I have to bring it with me. I do have other little lights that I would probably more likely to use if I'm planning to use it. But this is just something I need just in case. Because you never know. You never know. I'd hate to leave the house without some little light. I am OCD, if you will, when it comes to cleaning, if you will. Actually, that's actually a really bad way to put it. I don't wipe my lenses with my shirt. There's no way. So I have cleaning stuff that I bring with me 100% of the time. Even if I'm only bringing out a camera and a lens to just go for like a walk without the bag. I got a little bag, like a really tiny bag. Again, I really rarely use it. I'll just kind of pull it out. Very rarely use it, but this will still come with me. I cringe on the idea of wiping things with things. I'm just going to stick this in here just because I'm running out of space. I always pack, or at least 90% of the time, like it's pretty standard, I always pack a little recorder. This is so versatile, so useful for its size. Don't underestimate it because it's little. It's very, very functional. This can work in many ways. Let's say if I can't use this for whatever reason, you know, I can still pop in the lav and put this into a pocket, which is good. But probably more where I use this is I actually connect this to the camera in more of a video setup. And instead of actually, like, you know, I kind of said that I kind of run this directly into the camera. Actually, I'll run it in through the recorder and then into the camera. Because the preamps in here aren't very good. Like, they're okay. They're actually pretty good for the class of the camera. But they're not really good for professional work. So this gives me a better preamp so I can control the audio much better. A very good classic example is, let's say if I'm doing events and they got loud speakers, this will get hot, blow out my audio, makes it useless. This, I can turn it down so I don't blow out my audio. I got much more fine-tuned controls. That, and this also records in WAV as opposed to whatever is built into the video. This just basically means if I need to do some post-audio tweaking, it gives me a better file to do that with. This is becoming really messy here. And I'm almost done. Actually, I'm pretty much near done. And I always carry a little tripod with me. Mainly because it's small, mainly for a lot of reasons. Even in a video setup, when I'm running and gunning, again, I'll show this better, but I'll always have this on the bottom so I have like a better sort of handle on top of my camera, because I don't have a side handle, which really works really well. Gives me the ability to put my camera down if need be. It also gives me the ability to not have to mess around with my tripod if I ever want to get some low shots. But I mean, it serves so many functions because I can also, you know, put a mic on here or, you know, any particular setup. Like, I'll just put this back in my bag just so it's out of the way. Like, I got a whole bunch of other little tools that I won't get into, like, the little details on, right? But depending on what I'm using and what I'm intending, you know, I could bring all sorts of different little... I'm trying to show you how I can see this. It's like black on black. I'll use my, yeah. So, like, I have a whole little bit of, like, I got a bunch of different little ways that I can set things up when I know what I need and where I'm going, so it works. So, like, for an example of this is where I'll connect all my two mics and my recorder. But anyway, I'm going to finish this off on this. Let me just get back up to eye level here and so we can close this off. Alright, well, there you have it. That is generally what I'm always packing, or at least most of the time, as I would consider my standard kit. And if you're watching this, it's probably because, you know, it's all part of the story with my broken lens. Everything here that you see is meant to work together as a package to do, you know, I wouldn't say specific, but more general outdoor work. And without that lens, you know, I don't really have the general ability to be able to produce. So that's where I'm kind of stuck on. So anyway, I don't want this to go any longer, any farther. I'm going to do one more video, and I'm going to show you what this camera looks like when I'm in an outdoor run and gun video setup, because I think it's actually pretty cool. So I'm going to build that, set that up in another video, so check that out. And other than that, have yourself a good one, and we'll see you around.